Have you ever stood in front of someone who was shouting at you, insulting you, trying to get a reaction, and you just smiled? No rage, no emotional eruption, just calm power. What if you could do that every time with anyone in any situation? Sounds impossible? It's not. Because the truth is, anger is not power. Anger is a trap. And when you master the ability to stay centered, unshaken, and unbothered, you unlock a form of strength that no one can take from you. This isn't just a fantasy. It's a skill, a mindset that you can build starting today. They'll try to poke you, push you, break your spirit. Why? Because they're threatened by your peace. When someone can't control you, their next move is to try and upset you. That's the test. That's the trap. But imagine walking through that fire with a grin. Imagine saying nothing while your silence echoes louder than a scream. That's not weakness. That's discipline. That's emotional dominance. And the moment you realize you don't need to react, you become untouchable. Let's be honest. Most people are slaves to their emotions. A slight insult, boom, they explode. A little disrespect, they spiral into chaos. Why give that kind of power to someone else? When you let people dictate your mood, you've handed them the keys to your mental kingdom. And trust me, most of them don't even deserve to enter, let alone rule it. You must build a fortress so strong inside that no insult, no rejection, no drama can break through. Think about this logically. When has anger ever truly helped you? Really think, did it ever solve the issue? Or did it just make things worse, say things you regretted, make you look weak, emotional, impulsive? Anger clouds your judgment, it hijacks your brain. That's not control, that's chaos. You don't need to yell to prove a point. You don't need to lash out to look strong. The strongest person in the room is the one who doesn't flinch when chaos erupts around them. But here's the psychological truth. They want a reaction. That's the only reason they provoke. Because if you don't react, you deny them the control they crave. And it drives them crazy. That's the real game here. Most people don't even want to hurt you. They want to see if they can. They want to feel powerful by breaking your cool. But if you're unshakable, if your face stays calm, your tone stays low, and your energy remains clean, you win every time. There's a switch inside your brain, and most people don't know it exists. It's the observer mode. It's the mode where you stop being your emotion and start watching it. You feel the anger rise, and instead of reacting, you just notice it. Oh, there's that fire again. You breathe, you detach. You don't feed it. And like a fire without wood, it dies. That's self-mastery. That's where your power lives. Not in denial, but in control. Do you want to know how the strongest warriors stay calm in chaos? It's not magic. It's not luck. It's training. Constant mental repetition. They rehearse peace. They prepare for war by mastering their breath. Because when chaos hits and everyone else is panicking, they're steady. The same applies to you. If you can breathe when others scream, if you can stay quiet when others provoke, you will rise above 99% of people. That's real dominance. And don't get me wrong, this doesn't mean you let people walk over you. Oh no, this means you don't give them the satisfaction of controlling your mood. You can still respond. You can still defend. But you do it strategically, not emotionally. You choose your moments. You speak when it matters, not when they want you to. That's power, that's elegance, that's control. Because when your emotions are weaponized, they should be aimed, not leaked. Start small. Practice when someone cuts you off in traffic, when someone talks over you, when someone says something rude. Catch the reaction rising and pause. Ask yourself, do they deserve my energy right now? Most of the time, the answer is no. Because most of the time, they're not even thinking. They're reacting too, but you're not like them. You're learning to lead yourself. And that makes you the rarest kind of person. Unbothered, unstoppable, untouchable. I'll say this one last thing before we go deeper. Emotional control is a superpower and it's rare for a reason. It requires work, but if you build it, if you train it, if you live it, no one can touch your peace again. No one can drag you down into their chaos. You'll walk through storms and stay dry. You'll sit in rooms full of egos and stay grounded. And people will look at you in awe, wondering how you're so calm. But you'll smile because you'll know you trained for this. You have to understand, most people live in emotional chaos. They're walking pressure cookers waiting to explode. You see it every day. The tiniest inconvenience sets them off. One wrong word and boom, they're in a rage, yelling, throwing blame, losing control. Why? Because they've never learned to pause, never learned to reflect, never learned to separate emotion from reaction. And what's worse, they think it's normal, but you're not here to be normal. You're here to become untouchable. You have two choices when someone disrespects you. React and lose control, or pause and reclaim power. And let me be honest, it feels good to snap back sometimes, right? That instant satisfaction, that emotional release. But what does it cost you? Your peace, your image, your strength. The one who stays calm when provoked becomes a mystery, a puzzle, and people don't know how to handle that. Your silence becomes a weapon sharper than any words ever could. Here's the secret. You're not avoiding conflict, you're choosing the battlefield. You don't need to fight every battle that comes your way. Let fools argue, let the weak yell. Let the insecure provoke. You're focused, strategic. You pick your moments with wisdom, because when you speak, you want it to shake the room. You want it to carry weight. That only happens when people aren't used to hearing you explode every 5 minutes. Power is in restraint. That's what they don't teach you. Psychologically, people who try to bother you are revealing their own weakness. Their noise is a mirror of their inner storm. Their chaos isn't yours to carry. Think about that. Every insult, every rude comment, every little jab is a confession of insecurity, of pain, of confusion. And if you can learn to see it that way, it changes everything. You stop personalizing it. You stop reacting. You start observing, and the observer is always in control. You ever seen a tree in a storm? The wind rages, the rain slaps its branches, but it doesn't yell back. It bends, it sways. It endures. Why? Because it's rooted. It's stable. It knows the storm won't last forever. That's who you need to become. Unshakable because your strength is grounded. Deep, internal. People can try to break your branches, but if your roots are deep enough, nothing touches your core. That's real confidence. That's real peace. When you train your mind to stay still, you begin to hear everything. You hear the desperation in people's voices, the tension in their tone, the insecurity behind their insults, and once you hear it, you stop fearing it. You don't need to strike back. You just smile, because you see the bigger picture now. They aren't attacking you, they're leaking their emotions, their frustration, their confusion. And you're no longer a sponge, you're a wall. Let me ask you something. Who wins in an argument? The one who screams louder, or the one who walks away calm? You already know. Anger is easy, stillness is strength. Walking away doesn't mean defeat, it means you've already won. Because your energy isn't for sale, it's sacred. It's reserved for things that actually matter. And petty drama, loud fools, they don't qualify. You're learning how to protect your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. You might think, but if I don't stand up for myself, won't they walk over me? No. Because calm isn't weakness. It's preparation. It's discipline. It's patience before the strike. Never confuse silence for surrender. You're not ignoring disrespect. You're collecting data. You're watching. Calculating, timing. And when the time is right, you move with precision. One powerful move, one unshakable word, and it stings harder than any outburst ever could. You want to become the kind of person who walks into a room and shifts the energy. Not by talking, but by presence, that stillness. That focus. That unshaken vibe, people feel it. They can't explain it, but they feel it. It's the energy of someone who doesn't get rattled, doesn't get dragged into nonsense, doesn't flinch when provoked. That's the energy of someone who has faced their own chaos and tamed it. Someone who doesn't fear storms, because they are the storm. From today on, every moment of irritation is a test and a gift, a chance to strengthen your inner control. Someone talks over you, breathe. Someone cuts you off, smile. Someone insults you, pause. These aren't threats to your peace. They're opportunities to prove your power. Because you don't rise by fighting everything. You rise by rising above it. That's what kings do. That's what queens do. That's what you do starting now. Have you ever asked yourself why someone else's words can ruin your whole day? Think about it. One person says something stupid, disrespectful, or flat out wrong, and it hijacks your mind for hours. Why? Because you gave them access they never earned. You handed them a remote control to your emotions. And the worst part, most of the time they forgot about it 5 minutes later while you're still replaying it in your head. It's time to snatch that remote back. It's yours, not theirs. It starts with recognizing the truth. Your emotional reactions are learned. Yes, learned. Somewhere along the way, you were taught that getting angry proves you're strong. That being loud means you're right. That reacting instantly is a form of bravery. But those are lies. Real strength is the opposite. It's in holding the fire and not letting it escape. It's in the pause. It's in the deep breath before the storm. It's in knowing when to act and when to sit still and let the fools burn out. People who try to provoke you, they're fishing for control, fishing for attention, fishing for a rise out of you to feed their own emptiness. Don't give them what they want. Don't give them your energy. Don't give them your peace. Because once they know they can push your buttons, they'll never stop pressing them. But when you give them nothing, you leave them powerless. And that silence, that stillness, that calm smile, that'll drive them mad. Let it. Here's a little trick I use when I feel anger rising. I say to myself, this moment is a test. That's it. Just that line flips my whole mindset. Instead of reacting emotionally, I become the watcher. I shift from participant to observer, and instantly I feel my power come back. You should try it. Every time something triggers you, say it. This moment is a test, and your job to pass. Not for them, for you. Because you're building something bigger than pride. You're building mastery. Now let's talk about the root cause of most anger, ego. That voice in your head that says, how dare they talk to me like that? How dare they disrespect me? Don't they know who I am? That's not strength. That's ego screaming. That's your insecurity trying to wear armor. And the moment you believe that voice, you lose control. You become the puppet. Cut the strings. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. Your value isn't in your reaction. It's in your restraint. Look around. How many people are actually in control of their emotions? Not many. You see adults having temper tantrums like children. Leaders lashing out like they've never heard the word patience. Why? Because emotional maturity is rare. And when you cultivate it, when you become the one person who stays grounded while everyone else is losing it, you become powerful. You become magnetic. People will start to ask, how are you so calm? And your answer will be, I trained for this. And let's be clear, this is a practice, a discipline, a daily battle. You'll mess up, you'll get triggered, you'll say things you regret. That's okay. Don't aim for perfection, aim for progress. Each time you pause instead of explode, you're getting stronger. Each time you breathe instead of react, you're leveling up. This isn't about suppressing emotions, it's about mastering them, feeling everything, but letting nothing control you. That's the goal. Do you want to know what scares people more than rage? Calm, pure, unshaken, unbothered calm. Because people expect you to crack. They expect you to yell. They want you to fall apart. And when you don't, when you keep your eyes focused, your voice steady, your body relaxed, you intimidate without trying. That's real dominance. That's real strength. Because it says, I know who I am. You can't shake that, and people will either fear it or respect it. Either way, you win. Here's something radical. What if the person who triggers you the most is your greatest teacher? What if that rude boss, that disrespectful friend, that arrogant stranger was actually a mirror? A reflection of what you still need to heal. Not because they're right, but because they still have power over your peace. Let that sink in. Anyone who can pull you out of your calm still owns a piece of you. Your job, reclaim it, learn from it, train with it, rise above it. So I ask you, starting now, who owns your emotions? Who controls your mind? Is it them or you? Because once you answer that, everything changes. You begin to move different, speak different, think different, and suddenly the things that used to set you off, they become background noise, static, powerless. Because now you've stepped into your own emotional authority. And when that happens, nothing and no one can shake you again. You know what the world does when it meets someone who doesn't react. It stumbles, it gets confused, because most people are predictable. Say the wrong thing, they explode. Push their buttons, they lash out. That's easy, that's average. But when you break the pattern, when you give them calm instead of chaos, it throws them off. That's where your power is. They expect a fire and get a mirror instead. They're forced to face their own reflection in your silence. That's unsettling and powerful. It's a strange feeling at first, being calm while others lose it. You'll feel detached. You'll feel like you're doing something wrong, because we've been taught to be reactive. But don't confuse peace with passivity. You're not avoiding conflict. You're upgrading how you deal with it. No more jumping into drama like it's your job. No more reacting on impulse like you've got something to prove. You're evolving. And evolution always feels uncomfortable at first. The next time someone insults you, I want you to try something different. Don't respond. Don't explain. Just pause. Look at them. Not with anger, not with arrogance, but with a deep, unbothered stillness. Almost like you're studying them, and then say nothing. Watch what happens. That silence, that pause, it's louder than any comeback. It screams confidence. It screams, you don't shake me. And the best part, they won't know what to do next. Anger is a poor communicator. It yells, but it doesn't explain. It feels powerful, but it always makes you weaker. Ever snapped at someone and felt strong afterward? Or did you walk away embarrassed, full of regret? That's the trap. Anger promises power, but delivers regret. Always. Calm, however, is surgical. It sees clearly, it speaks with purpose. It waits for the right moment. And when it moves, it lands. it lands. And that's the kind of control you want to cultivate. Some of you were raised in environments where shouting was normal, where disrespect was loud and constant. So now when you're calm, it feels unnatural. I get it, that fire in your chest, it's not just anger, it's history, it's memory, it's pain. But you're not that kid anymore. You're not stuck in that house. You're not trapped in that cycle. You get to decide who you become. And every time you choose peace, you're breaking generations of emotional chaos. That's not soft, that's heroic. There's a voice inside you that's trying to keep you safe. It says, defend yourself. Don't let them win. But the truth is, they don't win when you stay calm. You do, because you're not defending your ego. You're protecting your energy, and your energy is sacred. Your peace is expensive. Stop letting cheap people drain something priceless. Not everyone deserves a reaction. Not every battle needs a warrior. Sometimes walking away is the ultimate power move. Let's get real. This isn't about becoming some emotionless robot. It's about knowing when to feel and when to let go. Yes, feel it, feel the heat, feel the rage, but don't become it. Don't act from it. Let it rise and let it pass. You're not your anger, you're the awareness behind it, the stillness beneath it, the calm watching the storm. That's your true self. And when you live from that place, you become unshakable, you become free. There will always be people who misunderstand you, who project their pain onto you, who try to bring you down just to feel taller. But their words, their actions, they only stick if you let them. You've got to armor your mind with truth. Remind yourself daily, their opinion of me is not my reality. Let them talk. Let them twist things. Let them throw shade. You don't fight shadows, you walk in light. Keep moving, keep shining, and let them choke on their own bitterness. Have you ever watched a lion respond to barking dogs? It doesn't. It walks. It moves. It doesn't explain itself. It doesn't lower itself. Why? Because it knows who it is. That's the mindset you need to adopt. Let them bark. Let them throw stones. Let them gossip. You keep walking. You keep working. Because at the end of the day, no one can disturb your peace unless you give them permission. And you're done handing out access to your soul like it's free. So now the choice is yours. Stay reactive, angry, emotional, triggered. Or rise above. Observe, breathe, respond with power. Speak when it matters. Stay silent when it doesn't. This isn't just a tactic. It's a way of life. A new standard. One that says, I don't chase drama. I don't invite chaos. I don't serve my peace on a silver platter to people who haven't earned it. You're not weak for staying calm. You're strong because you could rage, and you chose peace instead. Let me tell you something you need to remember forever. The moment you let someone pull you out of your calm, they win. Not because they're smarter, not because they're stronger, but because you gave them access to your power. You let them grab the wheel of your emotional vehicle and drive you wherever they wanted. That's not control. That's surrender. And from this moment on, you don't surrender your peace for anything or anyone. No more trading sanity for temporary reactions. When someone tries to trigger you, it's not about you, it's about them. Their behavior is a reflection of their inner world, not your worth. They may lie, criticize, shout, belittle, so what? That's not your mirror. That's not your truth. Let them reveal themselves. Let them expose their immaturity, their insecurity, their weakness, while you stay composed. Let your silence be the sword. Because when you no longer react to every provocation, you're untouchable. That peace, that's real power. Not the fake kind where you shout louder than everyone else. Not the fragile kind that collapses under pressure. The kind of power that doesn't need noise to prove itself. People won't always understand you. They'll say you've changed, that you're distant, cold. No, you're just focused, calm, unreachable. Emotional control is your secret weapon. It's what separates the leaders from the followers, the disciplined from the chaotic. You think the most powerful people in the world get angry every time someone disrespects them? No. They observe, they document. They stay composed because true power plans. It waits. It doesn't waste itself on petty emotion. That's what you're building now, a mind like a fortress. Emotion may knock, but it won't break in. Because you've fortified your soul. You must understand this. When you become the master of your emotional world, you stop dancing for others. You stop being a puppet on strings pulled by drama, gossip, and insults. You start moving on your own terms. People don't get to decide how your day goes. Situations don't control your mood. You set the tone, you decide the vibe. That's the level you're rising to, where your mood is self-generated, where your mind is a temple no one can enter without respect. Let's be honest, some people won't like the new you, the calm you, the non-reactive you, because they thrived off the old version, the one who argued back, broke down, shouted, got dragged into the mess. But not anymore. you've graduated. You're no longer performing in their circus. They'll poke, they'll test, they'll try to make you prove something, and when you don't respond, they'll call it weakness. Let them. You know what it really is, power they can't touch. Let me remind you, silence isn't empty, it's full of power. Stillness isn't passive, it's active restraint. You are not turning off your emotions, you're turning on your awareness. And with awareness comes freedom. You start to choose your response instead of being hijacked by every thought or feeling. You no longer get pulled into emotional quicksand. You walk above it. Because you're not here to be ruled by your reactions. You're here to rule over them. You know what's truly scary to toxic people? A person who doesn't flinch. Someone who doesn't defend themselves, doesn't explain, doesn't argue, just observes, waits, smiles. That kind of presence, it rattles them. Because it means you're not fighting for validation anymore. You're not trying to prove your worth. You've stepped into a level where your energy speaks louder than your voice ever could. That's when people start to ask, what changed? And all you say is everything. The world will try to test you, through people, through problems, through pain. But each test is training. Each challenge is practice. Every insult is a chance to grow stronger. Every provocation is another opportunity to protect your peace. So don't run from it, welcome it. Say, let's see what I'm made of. And when you pass the test, when you walk through fire without burning, that's when you realize it was never about them. It was always about you, your growth, your power. So now, stand tall, breathe deep, and walk forward as the version of you that no longer gets rattled, that doesn't crack under pressure, that doesn't give anyone the power to disrupt your spirit. Speak when it matters. Respond when it serves you. Stay silent when it doesn't. Let the world do what it does. Let the noise rise. Let the chaos come. You remain unmoved, unbothered, unshaken. Because now you know you own your peace, and no one's taking it from you again.